Hello everyone and welcome back to live coverage of the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. My name's Riley Knight, your host today, as we crown a champion in this Dragon Ball Super card game event. It's great to have your company back for our final day of coverage. Of course, we got through the quarters and the semis yesterday, but today we have two players facing off in the finals. This is a special exhibition tournament, single elimination, no prisoners taken, and two players have cut a swath of destruction through their foes as they've represented their regions and ridden towards victory at a great pace. Today, we will find out which among them will be crowned the ultimate champion as we get underway with our finals. But before we dive into today's action, let's remind ourselves of how we got here with some of the biggest moments. Another huge quarterfinal was held between the North American region and Asia. And of course, it was ultimately Brian representing North America that got up in that match.
And round one was taken down by Brandon Samuel, but quickly clutched back in round two of the match by Poe taking it down.
The special Garlic Jr. card, not only the one that he pays one energy, and then he pays one other energy for 30k. Monster. It's actually insane, even though he's in a really rough situation. I think with Brian putting down another Goten, drawing a couple more cards, looking in the top 7 because of the two Union Fusion materials, as in with these two cards, you need to have the same name, the same power. He's going to use these effects to get even more cards in his hand. But we're going to take a look and see how he actually ends it.
So here we do see the abilities from the Trunks and Gotenks that he had pitched to be able to do a quick search on the top of his deck. And now he's able to go set up
then I draw 2 for
drawing into the SCR, sells Zeno.
You can only have one in the deck, and he just drew it! I don't understand how he did it, but he has it on the board just for the game.
What a game to close out the SCR, ever so clutch, hugely powerful card.
We saw the Australian champion from Oceania go up against the Players champion Hayden Eggman in one of our quarterfinals, and both players certainly had a very good time playing this game.
With John piloting Bulma Gogeta and Hayden Eggman, our boy, piloting starter deck Frieza. And here we do see John EX evolve into the Gogeta, and now he's in a phenomenal position where not only does he have a fantastic, huge 35k double striking attack, meaning that any time Hayden takes damage or his Unison takes damage, he'll lose either 2 life or 2 markers, but Hayden in a really awkward position to not being able to establish board, especially since he won't be able to KO this Gogeta or deal with it in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not entirely sure what Hayden can do here. I'm sure he'll find out, but most of the time, with this specific Frieza deck, you're going to be trying to KO things to remove it, and I don't think he really has an answer for it, so he's just going to have to play around it, or at least do his best to get rid of it. And now we're taking a look at a really interesting situation. Hayden basically just got rid of his entire hand and now attacking with a 5k body. That's
where Hayden is able to chain attack, hand destruction, removing any options that John had to be able to defend himself, giving him that clutch win with the 5k. Absolutely powerful sequence.
In another quarterfinal, we saw France take on Latin America, and while Latin America emerged victorious at the end of it, there were plenty of huge moments from that match. Let's take a look.
But it seems that we do already have the turn 1 play from both players.
And here we just see that we've skipped a few, and we see that Jorge has just gone straight with the board. Like, his board is just overpowering now. And obviously, like I said, allowing you to play cards when they're discarded from the drop from the deck to the drop area. Just for free, so you're getting that momentum going without using any of your energy. And it's unfortunate for Remy, like we see that he's got nothing on his board. He's probably just been aggro down, he's just been attacked by all of Jorge's threats. It's a tough spot, isn't it, Melvin?
Whoa, and here we go.
It's a super combo now. Yeah, so this is super combo. As you can see, Jorge is now just literally piling on top, making sure that this attack can go through, as the Unison has a double strike effect in itself already. Here Jorge is just piling on the load, he's just going as much as he can, so the higher you go in your combo power, unfortunately he can't, which is smells disaster, and that is game four. It's unfortunate. Like, how do you think that felt down for him?
With the quarterfinal played between Italy and Europe. Of course, Italy did emerge on top.
Welcome back to Game 3 between Diego playing Ginyu and Lorenzo playing the Set 1 Golden Frieza. The current score right now is 1-1 to each of the player, and this will be a match point. So, can you tell me what is going on right here? This is turn 1 Demigra Unison. This is definitely what what Diego wanted, ain't it? I think this is a pretty good move from Diego, and Lorenzo is pretty in a tough spot, like what you say, because with the overwhelm mechanics that we see just now, instead of playing, this comes with all the black cards, right? So instead of having to pay for the energy, which is the 6-drop energy, what you do is you pay with 6 cards from your drop area. As long as you have a minimum of 6 cards of overwhelm 6, you can play that card. The balance kind of just says that at the end of the turn, if you kind of play it with, you kind of cheat it out, this card will be shown from the battle area. It doesn't stay there.
We jumped right a few, but look, just that it went from a very, very like stalemate position between the two players to Lorenzo dropping down. The Big Daddy himself sells Zeno. Unspeakable abomination. What a card it is! Like, it's absolutely insane. Would you not say?
Yeah, one of the most powerful secret rares right now in the game. It is a 40k quadruple strike beat stick.
It's also got dual attack and removes 3 cards from your opponent's hand. Now, if that's not insane, I don't know what is.
Yeah, but more than just that, Azim, you're a collector. What do you think about the artwork and falling quality of this card?
Absolutely incredible. Like, it's probably one of my favorite cards, and like you said, it is probably one of the best, if not the best, secret rare in the game at the moment. And yeah, it holds a special place for me. Like, it's such a great card, and like you see here, competitively as well, it's definitely a great card. And here I was saying, here with it being a dual attack, being able to attack twice. His first attack was blocked by the Berta, and now the second attack is most likely going to go through.
Great match.
Oh my.
And after emerging victorious from the quarterfinals, our players champion Hayden Eggman Kaustinen went to do battle against the American champion Brian here. And of course, as we know, Brian is in the final and so did beat Hayden, but with Hayden's deck, there's a lot for us to see. So let's have a look at some of the highlights from this semi-final.
All right, so this is another exciting match. This is between Brian, Samuel, and Hayden. We do have back-to-back with the same decks, Gotenks, and as well as starter deck Frieza.
And here in the mid-game situation, we see Hayden once more taking advantage of those healing pod loops, being able to combo Dodoria and Zarbon, where Zarbon needs a pitch to be able to play himself, and then from drop Dodoria's like, did I get pitched? Alright, sweet, then I'm coming on board. Really allowing this whole advantage situation. But here Brian skillfully being able to mitigate the board by using this Frieza counterplay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So many interactions, so many things going on, and both players just have so many answers to their own. See what we have, because now Hayden has no energy to work with, while Brian has all the energy in the world on his end. And we're going to see what happens from there.
Hayden here is in a very tough position of having no additional resources to be able to defend himself from a huge double striking swing that's about to come his way.
Yeah, and the tables have turned. Frieza really wants to do all of his hand destruction type deal here, but it looks like Brian has turned the tables and ripped all of his cards in his hand to swing with Dark Bully for game. Double strike.
A very good play indeed. High power ceiling, definitely setting up like Dark Bully has done many times over, and that cinches it for Brian, giving him that round 1 victory.
In the semi-final held between Latin America and Italy, of course our eventual finalist Lorenzo did emerge victorious against the Latin American champion there.
Vegex and we've had Lorenzo playing Golden Frieza. We've seen them in the in the quarterfinals, come through to the semis, and let's see who's going to win here. It's going to be a really big game.
That one of the best turn 1 play has happened, which is just to slap down that Unison card. Now we skip into the middle of the match. And here we go, one of the best cards right now in the game, one of the best common cards in the game. It is going to be the Overrealm.
He's in a better position here, Malcolm. Like, wouldn't you say? Like he's now taking a bit more control.
Your leader.
Yeah, but oh no, you know, he was trying really hard to remove the Black Mask Saiyan, but unfortunately Jorge do have another Black Mask Saiyan on his hand.
I mean, I paid it
Jorge has played the Haru card, which is an excellent value card to be played against a yellow opponent. 3 costs, 15k critical, helps to populate the drop area for... Oh, here we go.
Again, as I stated with the Champa before, Jorge has 2, Lorenzo's ending on his own as well. So as I stated before, instead of taking 1 damage, this now, the Frieza, this attack will now get up 2 damage. So as you can see, Lorenzo, Jorge only has 2 cards in his life. So this is game 4 and Lorenzo's taking it.
For those of you who are new to the game, or maybe you need a bit of a brush up on how the game works, we've prepared a video to explain it all to you.
The Dragon Ball Super Card Game launched in July 2017 and is now played in over 40 countries around the world besides Japan. Experience the high-speed action of Dragon Ball. Recreate your favorite scenes from the show and assemble a dream team of beloved heroes and villains as you sling cards in galaxy-shattering duels. Characters from every era of Dragon Ball are all here. This incredible cast of over 360 characters gets the superstar treatment with beautiful artwork and collector's cards that have to be seen to be believed. Sound fun? Let's learn the rules and get you into the action. As we explained at the start, this is a special match. Normally, tournaments are held over the course of a year to determine champions for each region. Players win preliminaries at store tournaments in order to earn invites to the finals, where the strongest player in each region is crowned. There are also store and online tournaments for players of all skill levels, so be sure to check out the official website to find your preferred way to play. Now, without further ado, let's go over the rules for Dragon Ball Super Card Game. We're going to be searching for the Dragon Balls along the way. Once we collect all 7, you'll be ready to fight. The Dragon Ball Super Card Game has 4 types of cards. Leader cards represent you in the game, which means you can only include 1 per deck. There are also Unison cards, which play by slightly different rules from the other card types. You can tell Leader and Unison cards at a glance, thanks to their use of CG artwork. There are also battle cards, which fight on your leader card's behalf, and extra cards, which provide a variety of helpful effects. Both players place 8 cards from their deck face down. These are your life cards. Whoever reduces their opponent's life to 0 wins. When cards battle, compare the power values in the bottom left corner of each card. If your card's power is greater than or equal to your opponent's, you win. Win a battle against your opponent's leader to reduce their life by 1. Now for a look at the key skills on leader cards, starting with the most common one, Awaken. After you've taken damage and lost a few life cards, Awaken lets you flip over your leader to power up and turn the tables. There are lots of other leader skills out there. If you're curious to find out more, head online and check out the full card list. Unison cards are played just like battle cards, but with a twist. They interplay with markers on them. While battle cards are removed from play after they lose a fight, Unison cards only lose a marker. As long as they have markers remaining, they get to stick around and continue the battle. Mastering combos is key to victory in battle. When you attack with a card, you can combo with your other cards to provide a power boost to the attacker. The number on the left side of a battle card is its combo power. Use a card in a combo to add its combo power to the attacker's power. But remember, knowing when to combo on attack and defense is absolutely critical. The number in a card's upper left corner is its energy cost. This is how much energy you need to pay to play the card. Cards in your energy area are called energy. To pay a card's energy cost, turn energy sideways equal to the energy cost of the card. Notice the colored orbs circling the energy cost? This is a card's specified cost. When paying a card's energy cost, you need to pay an amount of colored energy that matches the number and color of the orbs. In this card's case, you need a total of 3 energy, 2 of which have to be green. Oh, and by the way, vertically oriented cards are referred to as being in active mode, while horizontally oriented cards are referred to as being in rest mode. Unison cards work slightly different from other cards. They have a cost of X, which means you get to decide how much energy to pay for them. Each energy you pay becomes a marker that goes on the Unison card, with each marker representing the amount of damage it can take. Unison cards have skills, which you can activate by adding or removing a specified number of markers. The more markers you need to remove, the more powerful the skill. So how do games actually play out? Glad you asked. Decks include 1 leader card and between 50 and 60 Unison battle and extra cards. After placing your leader card in your leader area and your deck in your deck area, it's time to start. First, draw 6 cards from your deck. This is your starting hand. You can shuffle any number of cards from your starting hand into your deck to redraw. After that, take the top 8 cards of your deck and place them face down in your life area. These are your life cards. Once you decide which player goes first, the game begins. Let's get this battle started. Frieza's here, and he's got Galactic Dominion on his mind. Each turn proceeds through 3 phases. 1. Charge phase. 2. Main phase. And 3. End phase. Frieza's turn. Charge phase. There are 3 things you get to do during this phase. 1. Switch all of your rest mode cards to active mode. Frieza doesn't have any cards in rest mode, so let's keep going. 2. Draw 1 card. The player going first skips this step, so on we go. 3. You can choose to place a card from your hand in your energy area. If you do, make sure to place it upside down to set it apart from your other cards. Frieza charges 1 card from his hand by placing it in his energy. Now for the main phase. During your main phase, you can perform the following actions in any order as many times as you're able. Play battle or unison cards in your battle or unison area. Activate card skills. Activate your leader card's awaken or wish skill. Start battles. Move to the end phase. Frieza decides to play a Dodoria battle card from his hand. As you can see in the card's upper left corner, Dodoria costs 1 energy and has a specified cost of 1 green. Frieza uses 1 green energy to play Dodoria. End phase. The player who goes first can't attack during their first turn, so Frieza's turn is over. Now it's Goku's turn. Charge phase. Goku draws 1 card and charges a card from his hand in his energy. Main phase. Goku uses his leader card to attack Frieza's leader card, which means it's time to explain how battles work. To start a battle, switch the card you want to attack with to rest mode. Then, choose the opponent's leader card, unison card, or battle card in rest mode to attack. Goku's leader card has a Burst 2 skill that activates when he attacks. It places the top 2 cards of his deck in his drop area and lets him discard a green card from his hand to draw 2 cards. Now, let's look at the 3 steps that comprise battles. Offense step. During the offense step, the attacker can choose to start a combo, activate skills, activate Awaken on their leader card, and more. In this case, however, Goku chooses to do nothing. Defense step. Now it's the defender's turn. The defender gets to respond to the attacker by starting combos, activating skills, or activating Awaken on their leader card. But Frieza also chooses to do nothing here. Damage step. In this step, you compare the power of the attacker and defender to determine the battle's winner. If the attacker's power is greater than or equal to the defender's, they win. In this case, Frieza's leader card loses the fight. When a player's leader card loses, the player takes damage and adds a card from their life to their hand. Goku now switches one of his energy to rest mode, plays a Son Gohan card from his hand, and uses it to attack Frieza's leader card. Goku then activates Son Gohan's skill. This skill lets Goku add one card from his life to his hand in order to give Son Gohan 10,000 power and critical. Offense step. Goku does nothing. Defense step. Frieza also does nothing. Damage step. Frieza's leader card loses the battle and takes 1 damage. And since Son Gohan has critical, Frieza doesn't get to draw a card from his life. Instead, he places a card from his life in his drop area. Brutal. End phase. Gohan loses critical, and his power returns to normal. Frieza's turn. Charge phase. Frieza draws 1 card, switches his cards in play to active mode, and charges 1 card from his hand in his energy. Main phase. Dodoria attacks Goku's leader. Dodoria's skill activates. This skill lets Frieza add a card from his hand to his life to give Dodoria 10,000 power and double strike. Offense step. Frieza does nothing. Defense step. Goku also does nothing. Damage step. Goku's leader card loses the battle. Dodoria has double strike, which means Goku takes 2 damage. Frieza now uses 2 energy to play the Unison card, Frieza Zeno Darkness Overflowing. And since he used 2 energy to play it, it enters play with 2 markers on it. Next, Frieza activates the Frieza Unison skill. This skill lets him discard a card to draw a card from his deck and adds a marker to the Unison card. Frieza has an extra Frieza Zeno Unison card in his hand. Anytime you have an extra copy of a Unison card, you can place it under the copy you have in play to add an additional marker to it. Frieza places the Frieza Zeno Unison card from his hand under the copy he has in play to add a marker, bringing the total up to 4. Next, Frieza attacks Goku's leader card with Frieza Zeno. Offense step. Frieza does nothing. Defense step. Goku also does nothing. Damage step. Goku's leader card loses the battle, so Goku takes 1 damage. But Frieza's not done yet. He now uses his leader card to attack Goku's leader card. He also activates his leader card's skill to send Dodoria in his battle area to his drop area. This lets him choose the Krillin card in Goku's hand and force him to discard it. Offense step. Frieza decides to awaken his leader card. The awaken effect lets him draw 1 card, switch one of his energy to active mode, and flip over his leader card to awaken. In so doing, Frieza powers up into Last Resort Frieza. Defense step. Goku uses Bulma from his hand in a combo, which has a special effect. When Bulma is used in a combo, she gets 10,000 combo power and draws Goku a card. Cards with more powerful combo skills like Bulma are known as Super Combo cards. Because of their sheer power, you can only include 4 cards with Super Combo in your deck. Damage step. The awakened Frieza leader now has 15,000 power. Since Bulma was used in a combo, she adds her power to Goku's leader card, bringing his total up to 20,000. Goku withstands Frieza's attack, and the battle ends. Any cards used in combos go to their owner's drop area. End phase. Frieza ends his turn. Goku's turn. Charge phase. Goku draws one card, switches his cards to active mode, then charges a card from his hand to his energy. Main phase. First, Goku uses 2 energy to play Vegeta. Next, Goku uses Vegeta to attack Frieza Zeno. In response to this, Frieza activates the counter-attack skill on Shocking Death Ball. Counter skills come in many shapes and sizes, but this one is a counter-attack skill, which can be played in response to, you guessed it, an opponent's attack. It negates Vegeta's attack, and even lets Frieza KO an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less. Next, Goku activates the Awaken skill on his Goku leader card. It lets him switch 2 energy to active mode and flip his leader card over. Goku uses his newly powered up leader card to attack Frieza Zeno. He also activates his leader card's Sparking 5 skill. This skill draws him a card and also gives his leader plus 5,000 power and double strike. Offense step. Goku bides his time. Damage step. Goku's leader card has higher power, so it wins. And since it has double strike, it removes 2 markers from Frieza Zeno. Finally, Goku pays 2 energy to play a Bardock Unison card from his hand. And that's where our tutorial ends for now. Things are only going to heat up from here, so try the game out and experience the action for yourself. The world of the Dragon Ball Super card game awaits. Jump in and join the fun. Try the free tutorial app available on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android. Check the official homepage and Facebook for the latest info.
Well, my friends, the time is finally upon us, and it all comes down to this. It is time for the finals match between these 2 hard-hitting heavyweights, Lorenzo from Italy and Ryan from the United States. And our all-star cast of commentators are champing at the bit, ready to get stuck in. So let's head down to the feature match area, head down to the booth with Azim and Melvin, and joining them, George and Brian. Let's get underway.
Now you're in the finals. What is your expectation going into the finals?
I don't know about the deck of my opponent, but at this point I'm confident it could be an aggro deck or a very controlled deck. I hope it, because my deck could also get aggro if I want, because I have a lot of battles with low costs of energy that can go up and strike at the opponent leaders. So I think I can work on the surprise effect of my leader from set 1 and get a different mid-range strategy, so that I could face aggro or hyper control strategies.
Right. Well, seems like you went on your way for the finals. What do you expect to see there?
I honestly have no idea. I've never actually even seen Lorenzo play, so I really don't know what to expect. I know that he seemed to finish his matches fairly quickly, so we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't take me by surprise and bring something crazy for me.
All right.
Brian, the North American representative, uses a Gotenks deck with powerful Unison synergies. Though normally unable to awaken at more than 4 life, once a Unison card with 2 or more markers hits the board, Gotenks can awaken as early as turn 2, putting opponents on a very quick clock. Lorenzo is representing Italy with a Golden Frieza deck. Frieza is all about sacrificing members of his army to reuse energy and fuel massive plays. Many cards can be played or returned from the drop area for built-in synergy with Golden Frieza's sacrificial tendencies.
Roll the die again.
Oh yeah, let's wait until it's all cleaned up.
I rolled a 1, but
I rolled a 4.
And here we go, getting straight into the final of this event. Golden Frieza once again against Gotenks Extravagant. Assault. So this is going to be a great game. We've seen them play throughout the entire tournament. We've seen how each deck is made its way all the way to the finals. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like, what can you expect from this Melvin? Like, they're both kind of controlling decks as well as they can both play aggression. So what are you expecting?
To be honest, I really think that this is going to be a very, very even matchup because both of them are going to be using the successor mechanics. This is something that we are going to be expecting to see, which is to use, instead of using energy, you use the battle cards to bring out bigger and bigger threats on the board itself. And I believe that because both of them are playing the color yellow and green, so successor is something that we are going to see in the pipeline. This is definitely, it's going to be in case, and that will be what we will be expecting. So using something very small on the board, creating the board presence, slowly bringing out bigger and bigger stuff with very, very little energy. Yep, so that is what I think we will be expecting in this match.
Yeah, very true, very true. So we've just seen both players complete their mulligan, which we've not actually picked up on in the commentating that we've done. It's a nice little thing that is in this Dragon Ball game as well, that obviously you draw 6 cards first. Out of those 6 cards you get to choose however many cards you wish to keep, and if you do not wish to keep a certain amount of those cards, you can put those back into your deck, shuffle your deck, and then draw the same amount of cards, so you end up with 6. It's a nice little way that you can say, okay, I've got cards in my hand that are not going to help me. Early game, they're probably my late game finishes, so I'll put those back in the deck, and then I'll draw some more cards. So it's a good way of filtering out, getting different cards out of the community, which is definitely going to help both players out. And as we see, Lorenzo starting off with his Denigro Unison. We've spoken about this before, such a great Unison to start with from the very get-go. It's just there to not also hit with pressure, but also allows him to self-awaken with his ability. So this, I think, is going to be very nice for Lorenzo. He's going to set up, get his Unison out there, get that to Marcus so he can play his counterplays as well.
In this card game, it is very, very important for you to awaken, because that's where you get your full ability, right? So it really plays into the Dragon Ball mechanics, which is, you know, you always fight with your lower form and then you get to your more powerful form. So both of them are trying to awaken. There are definitely different ways to awaken. Gotenks has a much more flexible awaken mechanic, because either his life is 4 or less, or he plays a Unison card, which is a specified cost of 2. However, Frieza needs to get down to 4. That is a very fixed mechanic to awaken for Frieza. So, yeah, I totally agree with you when it comes to the Demigra. It's more than just setting up his awaken ability to make sure that he can awaken. It gives pressure, but at the same time, it ensures that his defensive mechanics are online. So this is something that that the Demigra Unison can do, which is so powerful and such a great play for turn 1. However, we saw that he used a very interesting card to play as an energy, which is one of the very, very good cards in the game, which is that Golden A.
Yeah, but as you can see in Lorenzo's hand, he's obviously he's drawn a few more cards, but at the time when he charged 8, it was the only yellow card in his hand, and with the other 4 cards in his hand being resettled on his hand that ability, they all, multicolored cards have energy exhaust, so when they do go into your energy, they go into your energy in rest mode, unless it's otherwise specified, which we do have what we call check lands. So unfortunately, I don't think Lorenzo is playing what we call check lands, where it negates the energy exhaust if you have a multicolored off card already. So that's probably why he played that Great Ape into his energy. Now with Brian here and Gotenks, there's a lot of cards that we we can easily pick out, and two of them are on the field. Obviously, in his empty we see the Grim Reaper of Justice. But I think also a card that's definitely worth mentioning is that one-drop Goku. The Goku card himself, the OP card. Definitely we want to see more Goku cards, would you not say?
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. What Goku card do we have? I think we had the other one, which was really funny, which you can come up for, I think it was 5, and it has like triple attack or something, and it was like extremely hilarious card.
Yeah, there were a couple, I think there were, but this one obviously just works out with the deck as well. So when you play it, you get to search your deck for a card with Union Fusion in its card pack, and then add it to your hand. And then on your next turn, which I see down here, is that you tap an energy, and then you reveal a card in your hand with Union Fusion, and then you pick out cards from your deck that have the Union Fusion cards, the cost. So we see he's taking out the Go-10 and the Go-10. Keep getting those mixed up. Go-10 and Trunks, which make the Go-10 card. So he's got all he needs in his hand for the next turn to bring out his Reaper of Justice, which is just a great card to play.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, with the Awakening mechanic, we see that Brian has played his Unison of cost, which is the Vegito, and he has Awakened. So a great turn 2. This is probably the optimal turn 2 that Brian wants, would you not say?
Yeah, and the the Goku card is such a powerful tutor. I don't think that we can call it a searcher, because it doesn't search, it tutors directly for what you need in your hands. So this is definitely one of the things that you want in your starting hand. That plays into what you said earlier on about mulliganing the game, because it would really reduce the randomness of the game, because we cannot take away randomness from this card game or any card game ever. But with this mulligan rule in place, you can really just reduce it so that you can pretty much on skill. However, so when it comes to Brian, he is pretty much set up for the next turn for, like what you said, also Green Reaper of Justice, and it's going to be a pretty big turn for him next. It will be interesting to see how Lorenzo is going to overturn everything though, because I believe in his tent he has a good mechanics on what the good set of cards on what he needs for the next turn. But it will be to see how he's going to handle this. Whether is he going to keep all his energy open, or is he going to not do that and maybe surprise us with some interesting play that we have seen throughout his way up. Oh, here we go.
Now, I also would like to state that I think he's attacking into the Brian's Unison there, so yeah, so you see, and I think that's key at the moment, because you don't want to get this Unison to 7 markers, because once Vegito goes to 7 markers, you can remove auto markers, and then you get to look at your opponent's life, place one of those cards into the drop area, and then your opponent shuffles their life, and then you choose 3 cards from your opponent's hand and discard them. So once that Vegito gets to 7 markers, it's an absolute correct. You're removing 3 cards, like we've spoken before about the Xenos SCL being really powerful, removing 3 cards. This is not a secret, this is just a Unison, which is actually a rare, and so you can play 4 of them, and there's cards in this deck that increase your markers that you can get on your Unison. So I think Lorenzo would try to get that Unison out of his way as soon as possible, so he doesn't have to deal with the hand destruction and life destruction effect, which is going to be pretty devastating. And here we see the Grim Reaper of Justice coming in.
The skill Brian just used is called Union Fusion. By placing 2 cards with the specified characters and matching power in your drop area, you can fuse a super powerful card into play. In this case, Brian fused Trunks and Goten into Gotenks. And that's not all. Both Gotenks and the Trunks card Brian discarded for the fusion have skills that push the game in his favor. Brian's not just using powerful cards, but powerful synergies as well. Whatever happens, Lorenzo's going to have his work cut out for him.
And the best part is that it also has the draw 2 effect as well. But because he's opted to choose that transfer, I guess he looks up to the top 5 cards, select a Unison, or I think it is a Gotenks card as well, and add it to his hand. So he's technically adding 3 cards for playing 2 energy there with the fusion. So well.
It is a very, very powerful card. It basically has no drawback because of you cannot counterplay against this card, so this card is safe, it will come to you on the board, and it has dual attack, so it has quite a bit of aggression for 2 energy. And Go Q will make sure that you get the cards that you have, that you need to play this card, and when he is being removed from the battle area by KO or your opponent's skill, you get back all the cards you need again to play back, except for this Goten, right? But you get back your primary cards, which is like Goten and Sun Goten, and Trunks U to make sure that you can continue playing the card. So this card is super, super powerful. But we also know that there is a second ability of this card, which is the 6 cost, which plays directly to a very to the success of the camp. So you can do a lot for 2 energy with this card. It is just simply amazing. Here we go.
Yep, and here we go, seeing Lorenzo's signature move, as we said, where he's comboing his Zamasu Super combo 2 Resta card, and then bringing down the Bergamo, again resting 2 more cards. So very, very great, good play.
Lorenzo deploys a perfectly timed super combo. Exactly the kind of skilled play you'd expect from a pro. Cards with super combo have powerful skills that only activate when used in a combo. And because of how powerful they are, you can only include 4 super combo cards in a deck. In this case, Lorenzo used a Zamasu super combo card, whose effects let him rest an opponent's card. Here's where things get feisty. The Bergamo card in Lorenzo's hand has a skill that lets him play it when he rests an opponent's card. And if that wasn't enough, it has a skill that rests 2 of the opponent's cards when it comes into play, which Lorenzo uses to lock down Brian's energy. Lorenzo's deck is packed with similar cards that activate off his combos and rest skills, like Grade 8 Bardock and Poutine. Remember, getting maximum synergy out of your cards is the mark of a great player.
It's just become his signature, as we said, his move that he's just always done. 2 rest the cards, so stopping any further play from his opponent and protecting himself as well. And doing it early turn is a great play because now he's got a 20k body on board, which he can use to, obviously, like you said, get rid of Unison or go straight himself. So at this time, who would you say like is in the better position at the moment? It kind of looks like it's Brian, but would you say that Lorenzo's okay?
I would say that it will definitely be Brian. I'll be very bold here. The reason is the availability of options for Brian to play. For example, like when the beginning of this turn, I'm not sure whether is he gonna go for Grim Reaper of Justice or he is gonna tap 2 to go for hand destruction for against Lorenzo, because we also saw the Ribrian from Universe 2, the Captain of Love, is in the drop area where he can just tap 2 just to make sure that Brian discards 2 cards from his hand. However, that said, that we are also going to be looking at Lorenzo awakening this turn.
Let's take a look at Overrealm. You can play cards with Overrealm by sending a specified number of cards from your drop area to an area known as the Warp. You don't need energy to play cards with Overrealm, but there's a catch. Play a card with Overrealm and it gets sent to the Warp at the end of your turn. This makes it a powerful skill, but one that you'll need to think twice about before using.
When he awakens, he is a beast. And so we can see that his hand size is going to go up. He's going to do so many plays in the next turn. So I'm excited to see what he is planning to do next. So there is that option.
Yeah, so as we stated as well in previous matches, that Awakening is really, really good for Lorenzo because he can potentially draw up to about 7 or 8 cards and untap up to 3 energy. So, however, in this situation, I don't think that's going to be possible because if you look at Lorenzo's hand, we see he has 3 super combos. He has the Cell SCR, 2 Bergamos, a Frieza counterplay, and a Blade Father. So he doesn't have any Frieza Force cards that he can play for low cost and use his leader's ability to the maximum in terms of untapping all those energy and drawing cards. So not the most optimal of plays for Lorenzo, I have to say at the moment. Unfortunately, his hand hasn't really helped him as such, but he is opting to Awaken. He is drawing those 2 cards. Will he get another low cost card? He's actually just drawn another overarm card and a Divine Blow, which unfortunately he can't use this turn since he has overarmed already with the card. So again, it just seems that the cards are not falling in place for Lorenzo. But on the other hand, Brian, like you said with the Ghost of tutoring, is allowing himself to get what cards he needs specifically and just take each turn as it comes. So I think it's going to be pretty tough for Lorenzo in the next couple of turns at least. We're on 4 energy now. Next turn he can bring down the Cell Dino to its big effect, to get it to its ultimate effect, sorry. But it's just going to be if he can get the cards on board. And just like to state as well that the way Lorenzo is playing with his board, I think he's just trying to avoid some glare there. He's not trying to normally you play your battle cards a little further up, but I think he's just trying to avoid the glare so we can all see it.
Yeah,
I really applaud his effort to try to avoid some glares over there. So for us as the casters and for viewers, we can also take a look at that much easier. Okay, here we go. We have a situation where it is going to be counterplay against counterplay. The reason why Brian wants to counterplay against the Doria is because it is a Frieza army card. However, you can also counterplay against the counterplay so that you also do get another Frieza army card. So a good play from Lorenzo to make sure that he needs a Frieza army card on the board. The Golden Frieza is definitely a very powerful leader. However, it is powerful if you have if you stack your deck with a lot of Frieza army. So this plays into the team when it comes to deck building. A leader can be powerful, but they do have their limitations. So Lorenzo is just making sure that he has Frieza armies on the board so that he can make full use of the leader's ability. And now you see that he can tap 2 to play that Warcry Apes to power on some aggression onto Brian, and because he has the Frieza army card on the board where he can pop, utilize the leader's ability, untap 2, and draw that 1 card. So really good play from Lorenzo this turn.
Yeah, and he does get an extra draw from the Blade Ape as well. He doesn't get to rest anything since everything is in rest. But I don't think that's the issue because that's another 4-cost yellow card that he gets on the board for his next turn if he gets to keep it on for Cell Dino. So he's opted to get rid of the Frieza head, so he gets to untap 2 energy and draw it as well. And this Bardock is also a double striker, it's a 20k double striker, so the good thing with this is that if he goes into the Unison, it removes both markers. So normally just a single attack would obviously take off 1, but if the card has double strike, triple strike, quad strike, it would also remove that many amounts of markers from the Unison, so he can get rid of the Vegeta hit, and that is what he has opted to do. So yep, as there is no combo phase for defensive Unison attacks, Brian can't protect that in any way, so he can only negate it or block with the attack. So a bit more of a better position for Lorenzo. I think he can now have a little bit more breathing space. He's got 3 active energy going into Brian's short turn. And he's got rid of a big threat in terms of Vegito. However, Brian still can play another Vegito, obviously. Like you said, it is not a secret. You can play 4 of those in a deck, and he's now on 4 energy. So for Unisons, you can pay more energy if you wish, and the amount of energy you pay is the amount of markers it comes out with. So if Brian does opt to pay 4 for another Vegeta, it comes out with 4 markers, thus just pushing it further for its -7 ability. And once again, we did see the super combo, but this time we see a blue team coming down instead of a Lugano. Oh no, he's up to protect the Lugano as well. So there you go, so you get 2 for the price of 1. Great play there. And again, Lorenzo just showing that his defensive capabilities are as good as his offensive capabilities. He's now tapping down 2 more energy for Brian. So Brian is now limited to what he can do for the turn with just 2 energy.
I think Brian wasn't expecting that because so many Super Lugano in Lorenzo's hand. Right? Because one of the biggest when you're playing against yellow is just try to swing with the leader first if possible. At the same time, there is also members for yellow players. When you're gonna swing with your leader first, that means you remind yourself of a battle card swing. So it's a 50-50. Really have to make a guess on how your opponent is gonna play it. It's actually a very difficult decision for Brian, and he took one which did
how many cards did you draw?
Lorenzo did have the other combo.
How many cards in your discard pile?
Down his leader, and now with and Lugano on the board with the bottom 8. Lorenzo seems to be in a much better position than now. However, we need to also take a look at the hand size of Brian, which is much bigger, and he is not playing against someone with hand destruction.
I'm gonna
that
attack
means
your
he gets to keep hand size, whereas when it comes to Lorenzo, his hand size might be quite a bit of a problem going forward.
Yeah, very true. I have to agree with that. It's going to be quite interesting, I have to say. Like, I think for Lorenzo, in his mind, he's also playing on the fact that because Brian is playing a team deck, we've seen it before already, and we could just see it in his block area as well. In Brian's block area, that he does play Dual Potential Unleash, which is a great card for Green in terms of if you have a Unison with 2 or more markers, you get to play the card for free. It's a counter attack, but it does not negate the initial attack. However, if you discard a green card from your hand, your opponent can only attack with 1 more card that turn. And then if your opponent has a battle card with energy cost 1/1, you get to destroy that. So I think that's also going to play into it. So Brian does have the options to stop attacks, stop turns, which I think is going to be on Lorenzo's mind. Brian now also going for a second Grim Reaper here. Again, drawing more cards, allowing him to do another 2 attacks with that.
And how many cards in that? Sorry.
But the more important thing is
9.
he now has 12 on board. He has 2 cards with 12 cost total on board. So if Brian has a Salvino in hand, which I can't see at the moment, he does have the option next turn even to get his full effect with Salvino, which and there we go. So I was mistaken, it was in his hand.
Brian has used Successor to play a truly monstrous card. Successor lets you trade in the battle cards you have in play for a more powerful one, so long as the cards you place in your drop area add up to the energy cost of the card with Successor. In this case, Cell Zeno costs 12 energy. To play it with Successor, Brian places battle cards in his drop area whose energy costs add up to exactly 12. It's not easy to do, but Cell Zeno is worth jumping through the hoops for. He has Quadruple Strike, which deals a whopping 4 damage to his opponents. And if that wasn't scary enough, Cell also forces discard when he comes into play and can attack twice a turn. The question now is, what's Lorenzo going to do to deal with it?
He gets rid of them, and now this is detrimental for Lorenzo here. He's got 1 energy open and has 3 lives. So this is a 40k quad strike attack. And again, I do feel that Brian here is just going to be what I've said before. We just call it, we dump the hand. So we literally just put as much combo power as we have in our hand with no negates. So that's a 40k, 50, 60, 70k quad strike part there. So let's see if Lorenzo can get out of it. And good thing to point out is that because Brian is on 4 energy, he does not get the full effect of Cell Xeno, so there is no discarding here from his hand, and it doesn't get dual effect. But unfortunately for Lorenzo, it is still more than enough to get over the last 3 life there. So that's a win for Brian. Unfortunately for Lorenzo, he can't get out of that attack. But that's great to see.
40k is just a little bit much to get out of, especially when it's quad strike. That you really do not have any other options. If you are a leader and you are awakened, you just need to dump your hand to make sure that you are able to defend against such huge number that it is stacking up against. So that is why in this card game it is very important to keep your hand size up, to monitor your hand size, to make sure that you have the ability to tank or to push up the numbers against it.
The US champion, the American champion, has taken the win, and that's just amazing to see there with Green Goten's extravagant assault. Well done to Brian.
And here we're kicking off the finals of the Battle Hour Special Tournament 2021 between Lorenzo, hailing from Italy, and Brian, hailing from North America, with 2 very powerful decks. We have Gotenks here from Brian's side, and we have Lorenzo piloting Set 1 Frieza. Brian, what do you think about this particular matchup? And, is going first that big of a deal?
Yeah, I think so. It really sets up both plays with Goku and all the Frieza army battle cards that he has access to, which are usually 1 to 2 costs anyway. So setting the early turn plays to use his leader effect, it probably takes some life as well pretty early, because the leader probably needs to awaken as early as possible to start swinging and start drawing cards. Those are the type of things that Lorenzo has to think about. And then for Gotenks and Brian, it's going to be Goku, it's going to be the Unifusion, it's going to be the Unison. All those things are usually set in mind as far as a turn to one of 2 plays. So it's going to be a big difference if who wants to go first. And in general, this is the clash of the Immortal. It seems like Immortal leader of Set 1 Frieza versus the newer generation of Gotenks, which is Gotenks, all around deck creates I want to do everything I want to do type of deck. So very interesting to see.
And Immortal is correct. It seems like every other set we just see Lemon Frieza just coming back in some form or another.
Same leader.
Yeah. It's gotten support here and there, especially this counter Frieza, that they're both charging both green energy, and they're both charging the same exact cards, just one from the yellow leader. But that's a big boost for this deck as soon as it came out. Just having access to that, seeing if Frieza's army targets the leader effect, and as well as taking down any of the really cool targets that it very well can take down. Being 7 or less. Paying the 2 for this effect early on to rip a card from his hand and draw the card and untap one. It's a lot of interesting value. And Brian smartly pitching out the Master Version so he can use it later, getting some value out of that as well.
Lorenzo's deployed his key combo. By using Frieza's leader skill, Lorenzo can place Frieza's army battle cards in his drop area to reuse his energy and draw cards. What really makes this skill unfair is Zarbon. Every time Zarbon is KO'd or placed in Lorenzo's drop area by a skill, the opponent has to discard a card. But get this, Lorenzo can discard a green card from his hand to return Zarbon to play again and again and again. Suffice it to say, this two-card combo lets Lorenzo strip cards from his opponent's hand while building a truly terrifying advantage on the board.
In the early hand destruction here, it serves a great purpose of ripping out combo pieces that Brian might rather keep but having no choice have to pitch away. Not having the turn 1 go cool means that his hand isn't as set up the way he needs it to be to lead into his turn 2s and 3, which means that Lorenzo can really capitalize here on not seeing those early setup pieces that Brian needs. He can put him in a really awkward position to potentially be able to take the game in his own advantage.
Exactly. And I think when we're talking about the 1, 2, 3 plays, this is going to be one of them. Using the Vegito Unison to awaken, take the 2 from his life because he's already at 8 and 3 go down to 6, and then untapping 1 and drawing 1 afterwards. Really strong awakening here. Not only to set it and establish the Unison that takes 2 every single turn, which is super hard to get rid of, but also being able to potentially draw 4 on the awaken, the taking the 2, as well as the swing.
I'm not going to combo, you're not going to combo it.
Just what Zarbon basically is what Brian said.
Exactly, and that early awaken is very huge hallmark of the types of leaders we see in this game today. A lot of them awakening with Unisons being on board or being at a very certain special condition, and definitely showing the power that these new leaders are able to press, being on the 15k body side as well as being able to set up that draw so
Yeah, exactly. I think, speaking of draw, I think the other thing that Lorenzo probably should have elected to do, even though I know he probably doesn't want to take too much damage, but is not to block with that Zarbon. And yes, the Golden Potential, and yes, a couple of KO effects are pretty important to get around, but I think making sure to use the leader effect on his side, having a guaranteed target for that is a little bit better, and you still get the effect anyway from Zarbon because it doesn't drop. But we're probably going to go and see the Doria come out, maybe see if Frieza kind of play a response to that, but it may not look that way. I will say that Zarbon still is in the drop. He can go ahead and pitch it a great if he wants to, and then go right into using the leader effect. So I think that's probably what he's going to do here.
Now that the Goku finally hit the board, last turn for Brian. Lorenzo here is working with the information. He knows the Grim Reaper is coming down next turn, and he needs to start establishing his board accordingly, knowing that odds are he's going to get something removed if he wants it to stick on board. And if he only does only have one thing on board, he's something that can be
Yep, exactly. He's going to go ahead and get a little aggressive here, most likely swinging, and right into the Dormant Potential, which KOs it anyway. So that is unfortunate because he now can't use the leader effect. He can still say no life taken, which is exactly what's happening. Only 4 cards in his hand. Got a 5-drop on his field for Brian on his turn, and now going into his 3rd energy charge phase.
I'll use
here Lorenzo being at 4 cards in hand, and this is where we see as immortal as Golden Frieza does tend to be, that draw power difference between what the game used to be like and is today is definitely showing itself in this game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big difference between, I would say, I think there is quote unquote catered ending for Golden Frieza.
You're at 6
because it doesn't draw on the leader effect. It doesn't have something like the awakening effect that it has. There's a big difference, just like you're saying, in these newer leaders and older leaders, in which they have to kind of finesse their way into deck building and making sure that they have all the options they need.
I will check that.
And it looks like he's just going to start swinging as much as possible. taking down this forward life and forces awakening on his turn.
Take it in.
Yep, and he counterplayed Frieza getting in an attack, and we know that doesn't happen all that much. So when you get that opportunity, take it. It's not always going to be there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, still being a 10k attacker to his 10k leader not unawakened, it's not too bad of an idea, but I'm not sure how Lorenzo's gonna deal with this Reaper coming down. 25k swing, it's kind of hard to deal with in general, so we'll see. Brian, I mean, he did have the bikini in his hand as well as his combo. Maybe using one of those to prevent an attack and tapping down something like Frieza might be a little bit better than activating the bikini. So that way, when it does use the Eden Fusion, you can tap it down. But there's probably something there that I missed. So I'm gonna take a look and see how he deals with these 25k swings.
So I will attack your leader.
And also potential to see. Yeah, the 3 draws are massive. That's the thing, right? Maybe considering that everything he plays out on board is either going to get removed or a combo he's not going to have to be able to make it to his next turn.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm just saying those 3 draws. Just why? Why is that allowed? I think it's one of the things that are really making a big difference here.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and did you KO my go tanks? Well, guess what? I'm gonna get my material back to go into another insane amount of consistency in there.
I'll up to Unison and I'll pass it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this is definitely one of the most consistent Frieza for sure, and one of the more consistent and generic humors as well. But I don't know, it's looking a little shaky with 2 life here. Brian's still at 6. Probably still has a double potential somewhere up his sleeve, if not in his hand. And Lorenzo is figuring out what he wants to do here. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Starbond for the drop.
Fortunately, Lorenzo here seeing back-to-back Demigras much later than he probably ought to. The turn 1 play would have opened up a lot of opportunities here. I mean, unfortunately, here being in a position where it's just too late in the game to be able to commit into Unison, especially after having charged 2 of his counter.
Yep, and drawing right into 3rd Unison on turn 4 is not exactly what he wants to see, so I don't know. Maybe luck is not on his side within this match, but that's okay. The best players come out of the unluckiest situation. Lorenzo is figuring that out right now.
Being in green-yellow, and there's the Celzino colors, and Celzino can make matchup happens in the unlikeliest of ways, so...
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe you can pitch a card with this, and then going right back into Zarbon.
And I gotta say, late Demigras would make for pretty good Zarbon pitches.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Get that out of my hand. That's exactly what you need. We can go ahead and draw the 2 right back into another Bardock. Again, not exactly what you want to see. Since you just used one. Not really useful there.
While it can open up options for the next turn, it doesn't give Lorenzo new options to work with, which is what you're looking for in this draw. You're looking for cards to open up your play to give you opportunities to be able to edge out.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the things that I'm noticing so far in this match is that there's not really much removal on Lorenzo's side. It's, as soon as he passes his turn, there's not really. He still has to deal with that 45k dual attacker. So he does have the green-yellow Broly to remove it, but at the same time that takes 2 energy, and it very well could be 2 energy in his turn. But again, tapping out for that may not be the best idea. So, I don't know. I'm really trying to figure this out along with Lorenzo.
And I think this is one of those matchup situations where I think Frieza's line of operating here is very much leaning on its lockdown strategy to be able to force your opponent into awkward positions where you don't need as much hard removal just because you're preventing them from making plays. And Gotenks here is a deck that just lines up really well against that, having immediate answers to any kind of block setup, especially with the powerful counterplay in Frieza. So here's just a lineup of matchups, and I totally agree with you on this one. The sequencing here, Lorenzo being able to pull out the game as long as you have, just a huge highlight of the skill and ability to power the deck, even amidst a matchup that is probably quite disfavorable.
Oh yeah, 100%. He made it this far, and he's doing well this far. No surprise there at all. And he might another card being pitched out of Ryan's hand, which could be another Master Roshi. Just the perfect option, it seems like. And yeah. Okay.
Alright, so here we do see the rest of the leader with Zamasu. Always a great play to be able to prevent it on the draws. And here we do finally see the P-Twin getting paid out, which will save Lorenzo from a second Green Reaper if Brian opts to.
Yep, exactly. Which, he can Bergamo here to tap down the 2 energy and limit his plays. I think that's probably what he's trying to figure out if he wants to do. He does have to combo out of this as well, so he just needs another 5k, which is probably going to be a GI or something else like that. I mean, I think he probably does use a Bergamo. I mean, he's going to be using the 2 energy in the first place. It's just really difficult to kind of do that, but looks like he is thinking about or choosing not to do that. Now the Vegito swing. Let's see what comes out of this. Of course, no negates. Haven't seen one in the last 4 turns here. Gotta go ahead and combo out.
And this is really showcasing the power that Mono Green has access to. In positions where you're forced to pitch, a lot of your pitches are really pitches where you're getting things like Roshi, which gets your gate back, or in Gotenks position, you can almost always get your Gotenks back, like that's now. So versus Lemon Lime Frieza not being a pure green deck, not having as much access to their drop, meaning that hand pitches are a little less liberal than you'd like them to be.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that, not so liberal on this because it's going to be pitching a super combo in the Bergamo, which is going to be pretty tough here.
I'll just uptick to 7. Fast turn 2.
Go up to 7 markers. Did I mention that it's really hard to kill?
Vegito landing itself to being like a Unison. But once it hits board, being a +2 marker Unison, sitting at a healthy 15 value, makes it very tricky to deal with, especially versus a deck like Gotenks that's doesn't let you get a board for free.
No, for sure it does not. Gonna swing here right into the Gorm's potential. Are we surprised? I'm not.
Go ahead. And here it's more so being a quality of life choice, where Brian's just saying, I'm just gonna play this and not have to worry about what you're gonna do for your turn. Because Brian being in a very healthy position where he could say that Dormant if he really wants, but why do so when you can just keep on whipping it over and over?
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead and play out the Zarbon. Set it up for his leader effect as well. Pitching the Zarbon on that well. And then drawing the 2 with the Bardock. Let's see what he can get out of this. Okay, so getting a nice little Frieza army targets as well as Frieza's call. Just deciding on this pitch for the Bardock. I think he should have kept that rolling. Simply because it is just another round. His turn. It has to think about. Only untapping one. Looking to pitch another from there. I do have to acknowledge Lorenzo's deck here. Just being the rarities here is so nice looking. That new Chile rarity, and as well as the alternate art for the Zarbon, it just looks so good. Pulling out another one.
Definitely flexing out the foil power of his deck, and one of the biggest highlights of the Dragon Ball card game. I think as a trading card, you have one of the best foiling in the entire method. It just makes for a very beautiful game to look at.
Oh yeah, 100% it does. Just love the arts, love all the options that we have. One of those options being this alternative art, Chile. Go ahead and draw another card, help his hand just a little bit by going to 4. Going right into another Chile. Been the theme here for Lorenzo for this game, it seems like. Playing a card and then drawing to the same card. Right after that, using the generic negate from the anniversary box.
I believe Max Power Command there showing itself as a great tech card in every single color of the game here. Doing fantastic dual purpose between a negate that you can recur over and over again, as well as remove a card for any card that costs over the energy cost that the player currently has.
Yep.
Great utility.
And passing right over to him. 4 cards in hand, a couple super combos here and there. Going into his 5th energy, which is always so scary for going against a Goten's player.
And here with the current board and say, knowing that there is more Gotenks to come, if Lorenzo deals with this current one, this may spell the final tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Well, being only at 2 life, 4 cards in hand, he has the pitch one, and that's okay. Which is going to be the one that he already got for basically for free after warping the 4 on that turn. We'll go ahead and swing again with the 25k. I don't think he has a chomp in his hand, but he does have this super combo. This is guaranteed, I should say, his combo stuff.
And while
Rebrand to the rock.
While Vegito is at 6 markers, we do have to note that he can still get his ultimate off with a Vegito from hand, setting it under the character. Meaning and after
I think that's
and
exactly
setting up the last life.
Very talking about how strong. What is this? Who's this? He's like, hey, you know I can win right now?
Big insane.
Gotex is my worst matchup ever.
Also the dormant loop.
Yeah, the dormant, the Frieza, everything.
Vegito's Unison skill just sealed the deal. By spending 7 markers, Vegito deals a guaranteed 1 damage to the opponent. Which means Brian has victory locked up as of this moment. Just the kind of display of skills you'd expect from a champion.
Thing about that was the set 1 Frieza versus the newish, I guess, Gotenks, showing both of the incredible options that they both had but Brian pulled out in the end and really showed exactly what he can do with that deck. And as a player, Lorenzo really fought throughout all of those different battles and different interactions. But I think it was entertaining. It was definitely entertaining, if anything. What did you think about that, George?
Absolutely. I think both leaders piloted very skillfully, and they were a phenomenal showcase of that old school value. And Lemon Lime Frieza, love it or hate it, is the immortal. It always shows up in one way or another in the sets, and it shows that its way of gaining value can still make its mark on the meta today. Whereas we have Brian with the new school form of doing so, with these powerful archetypes that really bring it all together with the new ways of awakening and comboing really well with Unisons. And it's this phenomenal bash between these two ways of thinking, and made for a phenomenal game, throwing us back into the many different eras of the Dragon Ball TCG.
Yeah, and I love it. I just love the evolution of the game. I love the ways that people can build decks, especially with Lemon Lime Frieza. That thing is changing every single day, and the consistency of Gotenks and all, as well as all the options and Unisons and everything else that it goes into that deck. I just love it. I just love seeing it. I loved every part of this match, and as well as anything else that came out of this. I'm just very happy to be part of this, and really happy to see all the players from around the world compete and do so well, and just have a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. And with that, we have to congratulate Brian Samuel, hailing from North America, for winning the exhibition tournament, wrapping up the TCG portion of the Battle Hour Special Tournament 2021 Finals. And with that, we will jump back to you, Robert.
Well, after a weekend of unbridled dominance, what a huge win in the final here for the North American champion, Brian Samuel. Not only North American champion, now the champion of this Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour Special Exhibition Tournament. A huge victory for a champion, an undoubted champion of this game. We did get the chance to catch up with Brian in the wake of his win, so let's head down now for an interview with Brian, the champion.
Here we are back with our great winner of the Battle Hour Special Tournament 2021. It's Brian Samuel from the US. The third time we're talking about a match, obviously a record here. Congratulations, Brian. You did it. You took them all down.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was a crazy match. So I definitely didn't expect Lorenzo to bring the spice that he brought. It was crazy.
You did say you've never played him, and you have no clear idea of what he's going to be bringing to the table. What was it like sitting down and then suddenly he slaps the leader in front of you?
I was shook. I was just like, really, Golden Frieza? I was like, oh man, what is he going to do with that? And once I saw it, I was like, okay. Instantly, I'm like, is he running this hyper aggro version where he's just gonna, just go crazy on me on the first one or two turns? So, it was definitely unexpected. Sorry, I'm just super hyped up. It was a good match.
I get it. Yeah. So how hard was it for you to adapt? You see that card, you're not entirely sure what his deck is doing. He starts playing, you see some of his moves. Like, how quickly did you figure out, okay, this is what I need to do in this matchup?
Once I saw the kind of his style of play, once I even saw what build it was in particular, I already knew. I actually had a little bit of experience playing somebody with this kind of deck already, so I already knew that instantly I need to keep my dormant potentials. I need to end his turns. I need to kind of just get further into the game. And it's paid out well. I was able to use dormant, Roshi, and just get my big drops out there, and I was able to outlast him.
Was there anything in his game where you felt like, okay, I guess if he did this differently, or if he knew what cards you had, he could have played around what you were doing, or was it basically, it was a pretty clear-cut affair?
Honestly, we even had a discussion, after the match, and it was just kind of like, it's a horrible matchup for him. Just me being able to end his turns with dormant, it was just, I was able to just end his turns, bring out my bombs, and then, just sell Xeno, and it was just kind of, it just kind of felt like there was nothing he could really done. Right. I will say this, he did have that deck down. Like, he did some moves where I was like, oh wow, I was like, okay. So he definitely has it mastered. So I'm just excited I was able to get the win over him. He's a tough goal.
Right. So, and about the tournament overall, like, what was your experience? What would you say? Is this something we should repeat, or is it something like, yeah, this is unique for COVID, but we don't need to do this again?
No, definitely. I mean, I think this should be done, you know, as regularly as possible. I mean, it's huge for us because we never get a chance to play against each other. You know, it's cool. You know, you got champions from all around the world that get to play against each other, and you know, hopefully we can get this done on a larger scale. You know, once hopefully this COVID thing is all said and done, you know, we can get a Worlds going or something. You know, I'm really hyped for that. But yeah, this event was amazing.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for participating and being the champion that you are. Basically, you are the one who's taking us out now. This is our last ever interview that we're doing for this stream. So you got the closing words. What do you want to get in there to the Dragon Ball community around the world, basically? No pressure.
Oh man, right? You know, one thing I can definitely say is just stick with the game, stick with it. I know this COVID thing is hard. It's hard on all of us. Trust me. You know, stick with it. You know, these webcam events, everything that Bandai is providing for us. You know, just stick with it. Just keep having fun. New things are coming out. Keep having fun with it, and yeah, you know, just stay super.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brian, our champion, the king of kings, so to speak, in this tournament. We just crowned him. We'd very much love to talk to you again at some point in the future. Maybe we're gonna do this again. Maybe we're gonna have a seat at the table for the reigning champion in our tournament of all the champions from around the world. So there's definitely a chance we're gonna see you guys very soon again. With that, thank you so much, and all of you at home, thank you so much for watching the coverage of the Battle Hour Special Tournament 2021. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you want to see this tournament again, if you had fun watching this. So with that, guys, gonna take you back to our host for the coverage. See you very, very soon. Thank you.
Well, that is that for our coverage of the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. What a pleasure it's been to have you with us for the broadcasting of this special exhibition tournament, and we hope to have you again in the future, not too far from now. Congratulations to Brian Samuel, the North American champion, and now the champion of this exhibition tournament. Well done to you, Brian. What a feather it is in your cap to have won this entire thing. On behalf of the entire coverage team, it's been our great pleasure to bring you coverage of this event. We do hope to see you again in the not too distant future. We do have more events like this planned, so stay tuned for further news of events like this for you to tune into and enjoy. But on behalf of the entire coverage team, that is that. That is all here at today's sports fans. My name's Riley Knight, signing off one last time. We'll see you next time.